Alright, what's good guys? Today I'm going to be going in depth in a video on how to scale prop firms and how to get your first payout with prop firms. This video is really only for people that haven't gotten any payouts before and want to, get into trading. But if you've gotten many payouts, this is honestly the same idea, just on the span of more accounts and having more size. And this video, first of all, to start this video off, you need to have a profitable strategy. This video really doesn't mean absolutely nothing if you don't even know what strategy you're going to be trading. So first of all, have a strategy, learn some sort of strategy. I don't care what it is. If you want to learn what I'm trading, I'm going to be dropping videos later on about explaining my whole strategy in depth. And I have trade recaps posted on my social medias like TikTok, Instagram, where pretty much it is in depth of what I do trade. And once you have a strategy, you're going to be paper trading for at least 2 weeks till you're green. So I want you to have 2 back-to-back green weeks. And once you have those 2 green weeks, you're going to hop on a funded account. And that's where we get into what account to buy and how we're going to trade these accounts. So these are your first 2 options for buying accounts. I'd recommend you get an Alpha Futures 50K zero account. I forgot to add that. Sorry, guys. So a 50K or a Top Step 50K account with no activation. These are your 2 options. And let's go a little more in depth on these accounts. So the Alpha Futures 50K usually costs around $60 to $80. There's always some sort of sale going on where you can get these accounts on sale. So what you're going to be doing with these accounts are a 1-day pass, meaning you can hit your profit target in 1 day and have the funded account the next day. And both these accounts, you're going to be doing the same thing. You're going to be risking heavy. There's no point of you risking small or with low size on evals. Evals are meant to be rinsed and repeated. You want to get on a funded account almost as quick as possible, meaning you're going to be risking half your drawdown and aiming to pass or fail the account in 2 trades. Half your drawdown, you have 2K, so you're going to be risking around $1,000 per trade. Now, once you're funded, you're going to be sizing down exponentially, where your risk is going to be around $400 to $500 per trade. You want to aim for ideally 2 to 3 winning trades to put your balance at around 51 to 51.5 thousand. And after you get those 2 to 3 days, you're going to be at around 2 or 3 winning days. Most of these firms have a 5 winning day policy, especially Alpha and Top Step. So you're going to need to size down to get two to 3 more winning days with low risk. That means you're going to be risking only $150 to $200 on this account to get the winning day. The winning day is $200, meaning your risk to reward is going to be around 1-to-1 or 1.5, whichever one it is. It's not that important. Second option is a Top Step 50K account with no activation. You want to get the no activation account. There honestly isn't any point of buying the accounts with activation now that they have these accounts. These accounts do have a 50% consistency rule with a $3,000 profit target, meaning your biggest day can be more than $1,500. And that 50% consistency is pretty common on other prop firms if you want to do that as well. These accounts as well, you're going to be sizing heavy, risking around $1,000, which is half your drawdown, and you're aiming for a $1,500 profit target on that day, meaning you're trying to get this account passed in 2 days as well. The Alpha Futures accounts you can pass in 1 day, but that doesn't mean you should be aiming to pass in 1 day, since it is honestly extremely unrealistic for you to catch a 3R trade every single time. So just sizing down and getting those 1.5R trades is a little more higher probability and a more likely chance to happen in general. And with these Top Step accounts, once you get those 2 $1,500 days, you're going to be funded. And with this account, you want to ideally risk a little more heavy because there is no consistency rule on these accounts as the Alphas do. The Alpha Futures accounts do have a 40% consistency rule once you're funded, meaning your biggest day cannot be more than 40% of your profits. So you do not want to be going for a massive $2,000 day and then scaling down for $200 days. That's going to knock out your consistency rule by crazy. Either just taking base hits, $400 to $500 hits every single day, just getting base hits following your rules. The Top Step funded accounts don't have that consistency, meaning you can literally smack a fucking 15K trade and request half of that after your 5 winning days. And you're doing the same thing on these accounts. You're going to be risking $500 for your trade. But since these accounts do have a bit of a higher profit target, where you can a higher payout target, you can be risking a little heavier and aiming for bigger winning days. So you want to aim for around 3 to 4 winning trades of $500, which would put you at 1.5 to 2K profit. And the winning days on these accounts are also a little bit lower than your alphas, meaning the alphas have a $200 winning day, Top Step has $150. So it's a $50 difference, honestly, not that big of a difference, but all that means is you can risk a little less on the Top Step to get your winning days. And then all you do is just pretty much secure your payout once you reach those balance. Now let's get into which firm is better for you. I'm going to go through the pros and cons of these accounts and explain which firm is honestly better for what type of trader you are. So the Alpha 50 case, here are the pros of it. There's no consistency on the eval, meaning you can pass it in 1 day. You can honestly aim for a 3-hour trade. It is a low probability chance, but you know, they do happen sometimes. Honestly, when I was trading my first few accounts, it was on my funded futures and they had a 1-day pass. And a lot of times I was passing in one trade, just hitting 3-hour trades back to back. So it can happen. Nice thing about alpha futures is their payouts and supports are lightning fast. You request a payout, that shit's hitting your bank account the next day, and their support literally answers you in a few minutes if you ever have issues, which is honestly a huge benefit because prop firms do end up having a lot of issues times where you do want to reach out to support and have that issue fixed in a few minutes. They also oftentimes have discounts. They run 20 to 30% discounts quite often, maybe every, I'd say, month or so. There's some sort of discount going on all the time. So you can get these accounts for pretty cheap. And here are the cons. So these accounts have a 40% consistency rule on unfunded. So as I explained, your biggest day cannot be more than 40%. So if you have a $3,000 balance on that account, you can't have more than 40% of your profits be on one single winning day. You can't trade T1 news or red folder news on these accounts once you're funded, meaning you can't full port news. And then finally, they have a $1,500 payout cap. And honestly, these cons are not terrible at all because if you're going for your first payout, your first funded, these rules you should be following regardlessly. You shouldn't be going for a single massive winning day if you have no payout. That's just extremely stupid because most of the time you're going to be over risking. So having that 40% consistency rule is honestly just keeping you in check, making sure you're risking adequately on these accounts. And the fact that you can't trade red folder news or gamble news is honestly a great thing too because you should never be gambling news any reason. Oh, yes, it is a little frustrating sometimes when there's a really nice setup and there's some sort of news like 10 a.m. But okay, it's not a big deal. That honestly happens maybe once in every fucking blue moon. So it's not a big deal. These cons are honestly not cons if you look at it on the bright side. It's just going to keep you more consistent. And then going to the top set 50Ks with no activation, they have no consistency when you're funded. The payout cap is almost 3 times bigger. You have a $5,000 payout cap compared to $1,500 payout cap. But let's be realistic. You're not going to hit a $5,000 payout cap on your account regardless, on your first account. And news trading is allowed, but for some people, they want that. In my idea, you shouldn't be trading news anyways. Now, the cons of the firm is they have absolutely terrible support. I once waited 2 weeks to have an issue fixed, and at the end of those 2 weeks, I still didn't have it fixed. I had to wait another week on top of that for them to fix another issue. So that's my issue with TopStep is their support is absolute dog shit. They take hours to reply to you, and most of the time they don't do anything about the issue. They just tell you, go fuck yourself. Their platform isn't the most reliable too. There's TopStep X is known for crashing and just being down on really good trading days. Now, I don't know if they do this on purpose, but that's just something to keep in mind that their platform can shut down any moment. And they do have a 50% consistency rule on your eval, which, again, not a big deal. Consistency rules aren't the end of the world. It's just how you manage them. And both of these accounts only allow you to withdraw 50% of your balance at a time. Meaning you have a $53,000 balance, you have a $3,000, you made $3,000 on an account, you can only withdraw half of that at a time. And that's why I explained this $5,000 payout cap honestly does not make a fucking difference for you if you're doing your first account. You're most likely not going to reach $10,000 on your first account. That's extremely unrealistic. And if you do, all props to you, but that's like 1 in a million people are honestly reaching that. And with all said and done, let's hope you did end up reaching that payout. What are you going to do with that money once you withdraw it? No, you're not going to go to the club and spend it. You're not going to go LARP that shit. You're going to build a buffer with those accounts. You're going to start scaling. You're going to buy 2 to 3 more accounts and 10x that shit. So let's say you have a pretty good buffer on that first account. Just buy 2 more and get max allocation on alpha. Max allo on alpha is 2 accounts. And you want same thing on TopStep. It's 5, but you should only probably scale to 3 accounts. So after your first payout, you have 1 account. You're going to scale it to 3 accounts. Hopefully you get a payout with those accounts. And if not, it's not a big deal. You have maybe 6 to 10 accounts you could purchase with that payout to blow. And after you get a payout with those 3 accounts, you're going to buy 2 more to put yourself at 5 accounts. And that's all trading is. That's the whole name of the game, is literally just reinvest in yourself and scale. Trade the same exact way and just buy more accounts and just stack that till you can build as much as you want. And honestly, the revenue is endless on these. And these are my recommended prop firms that you should go with. I think you should always, for your first account, go with the 050K. But if you don't want to go for the 050K, sure, you can go for a TopStep 50K. TopStep, I think you should only get once you're trying to scale further on. Or Lucid and My Funded Futures are also really good options. All of these 3 firms do have really similar accounts. Some do have their pros, some have their cons. But honestly, for your first few accounts, it doesn't matter what firm you go with, rather than that you just focus on being consistent and following your rules. Your whole goal with your first account is to get a payout following your rules. Because if you get a payout from gambling or not following your rules, you hit a lucky trade, you're just going to give that money back on the accounts you buy the next time. Your whole goal is to just build consistency. If you guys found this video helpful, please like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know if there's anything else you'd want from me. Bye.